the day that a student advanced.
Funded this project, which includes Councillor Bloomfield, who's going to say a few words once I'm finished, Jennifer Watts, HRM Sustainability Environmental Management Office, the Department of Nova Scotia Environment, and the Community Health Board. So it's really exciting because those are all very different people who support this project for many different reasons. I'm excited because it's the first building on the new redevelopment of the Bloomfield Centre. So. And it sets the tone. And it sets the tone around community involvement, I think, and local food and people being excited about just doing things because there's an idea, and that's really what this project is really about.
We did something at Bloomfield. This was a project that was part of a big project that Susanna and the Imagine Bloomfield have been working on for years. Turn this into an arts and cultural center. I mean, it'll pay for itself with condos and townhomes and affordable housing. You get a chance to have a centerpiece in the North End. And like I said to Suzanne earlier, I hope I'm alive to see it because it is something that's great, and I want to thank everybody concerned for all the work that they did to make this possible. And I want a piece of squash from this.
The connection around food security, and really this is a shining example of looking at an urban situation and how we can be involved in producing our own food and sharing that within the community. So it's such a, I think, important statement, you know, in this time in our sort of life as a community to have this greenhouse here producing food and yeah, bringing out great things. So thank you to everyone for the idea and for making it all happen.
My name's Anita Price. My sister-in-law, Leah Ronaldo, and I, are sharing a walk. So we're really excited.
And I'm Angela Day, and I've been gardening in the city for a long time and really excited to do that in the fall and winter.
There are 4 greenhouse member plots, plus Rebecca Singer, who is staff of EAC. So Rebecca will be growing native plants for community gardens in HRM. Imagine that in the wintertime the temperature of the greenhouse will be fairly cold, and so they'll need to be fairly cold hardy plants, and then in the summertime grow all those like warm weather loving crops. And is part and parcel with this whole concept that I really appreciate of community food centers. So spaces for, you know, mid to large scale composting, greenhouses, spaces for people to teach and learn and access food and learn about food and grow food. I mean, there are a few greenhouses around town, but a lot of them aren't really accessible to community members and community gardens. I saw that as a pretty big gap here in Halifax. Bloomfield's working really hard on this site, so we felt like it was a really good spot in terms of having a lot of empty space and potential. It actually has amazing southern exposure. So despite being in a parking lot, I think the concrete will be a nice heat sink, and the direction of the light works really well. And it's also pretty amazing to go in there and you can't quite see out, so it's this kind of alternate universe where you kind of forget you're in a parking lot. Ecology Action Centre owns the building, and then we rent the space that sits on from the city. Members will be in there next week or the week after, and they can start planting. I mean, if they plant radishes, we're harvesting in a month, so.
It's a community space. It's an open building for people to come and to enjoy just sort of being inside in the wintertime and to explore the benefits and the feelings of passive solar heat, which is something that Nova Scotia is really rich in. but doesn't do a lot of harvesting. It's using design principles, solar design principles that let the heat from the sun in and then keep it inside of a building to use it for the space heating or hot water heating. Passive element is just what you'll see here. It's a huge glazing wall and the sun just pounds in and once it's here you keep it inside. So the building is super insulated. That means that the floor and the roof and all of the exterior walls have about an R35 to an R45 insulation value. And this front glazing wall is a poly-gal glazing system, and that is a specialized system that lets a lot of heat in, transfuses the light really nicely for plant growth, but also has a higher R value than glass would, which means that heat can't get out once it's in, the same as it would if it were a glass wall. It's also unbreakable, so because we're in a very public setting, it's a parking lot in an urban setting, this wall can't be broken. There's an in-floor heating system, so on the roof of the building we have a solar collector which grabs heat from the sun. We pump that through these red pipes all through the concrete floor and underneath the planting bed, and that enables the heat from the sun in the coldest days to get into the concrete, into the building. So when a cold night comes, you can then come out of the concrete and keep the building at a growing temperature, hopefully about 5 or 10 degrees. We've also concentrated all of that heat under the planting bed in an attempt to keep the root temperature as high as we can, so that the foliage temperature can get fairly low and the roots will still stay at a nice growing medium. And if we focus on the roots and not the foliage, it can actually get quite cold in here without disrupting the growth patterns. There's also a storage area back here where we've got all our mechanical guts, sort of, so the solar system. We've got 3 photovoltaic solar cells, and that powers the building's lights, and this fan up here, and some glowing lights in the wintertime when we don't have a lot of sunlight to work with. So the whole building's off-grid, and can really be transported and put down anywhere in the city and it would function. It's a functioning machine.